Hello, my name is Kirsten Best and I live in Czech. In the interest of time, I'll try to be concise and to the point. The primary issue here, as has already been mentioned, is property and individual rights. Whether or not windmills would be beneficial to Floyd County is secondary. In my opinion, the board, back before the first year, had a knee-jerk reaction to a hot issue because you heard the voice of the tourism and real estate special interests. You let 400 people whose signatures were on the petition make a decision for the other 14,800 people who also live in this county. Then you had Mr. Cornwell draw up an ordinance, voted on it, and thought nobody would notice. Well, we did notice. You usurped my rights as a landowner and taxpayer without even blinking an eye. Your ordinance, as written, is actually much more restrictive than Tazewell County's ordinance. At least they allow variances and permits to be applied for. Mr. Cornwell, when he read the definitions, conveniently left out the sentence that said no variances will be issued at all in this ordinance as it is written. Floyd's ordinance, if it's approved as it is, I couldn't even put up a small windmill on my land or on top of my house to provide greener energy for my family. I will forever be enslaved to AEP and their rate increases. The only consolation, I guess, is that my husband can still enjoy the pristine views as he drives to Roanoke every day to work. But that's a whole other soapbox. Earlier, the comprehensive plan was mentioned. What wasn't mentioned was that plan also promotes sustainability. In fact, Floyd County is a member of the New River Valley District Planning Commission and is part of the Livability Institute, which is based out of Christiansburg, Blacksburg, and all of these organizations promote greener and cleaner and alternate forms of energy, of which wind energy is one of those. So, which is it? Are we going to promote cleaner and greener energy and alternate forms of energy, or are we going to restrict that? How can you be a member of something that promotes one thing and shut it down on the other side? That's just a question. I haven't decided personally whether I'm for or against wind power. I still have a lot of research to do on that. No matter what your opinion about wind power, this was not and still is not a decision to be made quickly, even after this hearing is over. It is the duty and responsibility of this board to research this issue thoroughly and objectively. I urge you to table this ordinance in the meantime. Please look at both sides. Maybe even have these wind companies come and give a presentation and answer questions publicly, not just for a few affected landowners. Check out what Blacksburg is doing with experimental wind power and what others are doing with small wind power generation. Then make an informed decision. That's what responsible governing means, and that's what we sorely need in Floyd County. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Over the past several months, I've brought to the Board of Supervisors close to 700 signatures of Floyd County residents that signed a petition to support a ridgeline tall structure ordinance. Most of these signatures are from residents who live in the area close to the Wills Ridge. In order for the Board of Supervisors to recognize those here tonight in support of this ordinance, I ask that they may please raise their hands.
Can you repeat that? Repeat it, please. Repeat the question.
Repeat the question?
Yes.
All right. In order for the Board of Supervisors to recognize those here tonight in support of this ordinance, I ask that they please raise their hands. Now, not necessarily the ordinance as it's presently written, but if they do make some amendments to this ordinance, which we hope they will do, as some have already stated here that they would like to see happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Frank Rudelsel, Indian Valley District. I got a copy of your draft, and I know everybody's in here concerned about our widows in this county, our elderly people, which is a large number that are retired on fixed incomes, and the last few farmers that we have that's just barely struggling by with these high fertilizer bills they got to do. So I'm sure this is really going to cover it and help them good. Now, in your your whatever you call it plan, your page 167 of chapter 10 plainly states the future property use. It goes to the highest bidder in here, in this county or outside the county, or real estate people, regardless of the impact of the neighbor, the investment, or the county's expenses. That's your all's. Now, in your chapter 11 of what your goals is, you want to protect the farms and the forest. I agree with the forest. But where's these farms going to wind out when they keep selling out and getting more subdivisions and one house here, one house there? It ain't helping these widows on taxes. And in your 10-year plan, you're promoting tourism. This little draft I read coming up here that Mr. Cranwell had proposed in here for you all to pass, it tells how tourism will help the livelihood of Floyd County. I don't see none of these widows and these elderlies and some of these farmers getting tax breaks out of these tourism. I see drug-only crime wave just out of this roof. I hear at the board meeting they're needing money to hire people to do things. We ain't got money. We're $800,000 in the hole. People don't like wind turbines. Guess what? I don't like solar panels. But you may be looking at close to 4,000 acres of solar panels on green fields. And I hate to see it because the tax revenue is not there for Floyd County. The tax revenues in wind turbines. On Virginia Tax Code 58.1, 2606, paragraph C, plainly states that this county or locality can charge the minimum real estate tax, which ours is 50 cents on the $100 value, maximum personal property tax, which is $2.95 on a $100 value. The cost of this could be incorporated by the State Corporation Commission that sets a fee. That'll range anywhere from $15,000 a year per turbine to $88,500 a year per turbine. That's a lot of money in my book. The landowner's only guaranteed $8,000 a year, so the county at the bottom end would almost double their money in tax revenue. I could see that helping in our first responders. I could see it helping the widows. I could see it helping the elderly people that are retired, because I'm trying to retire in 3 years. I'm not going to be able to make it without selling off a tract of land I bought from Doug Phillips to build a house on. I don't want to look at that house out there in the field. I've got an Appalachian power pole right now sitting in the middle of my big, beautiful window that I want to look out across that field. I let Appalachian put it because he had to change that big high-powered line through there. I want electricity. The cheapest way for electricity is with wind turbines. The engineer from Appalachian, I stood in my yard. He has customers that they have asked in Appalachian Grid, do you have other alternative energy other than coal and from the dams? And he said, no, we have none of that. If we had them in Floyd County, Appalachian would recommend these businesses to come to Floyd County, and that would make jobs. Like the gentleman said, if businesses come to this county and they want higher than 40 feet, they're out. If Doug Phillips sells that land down here on Route 8 and it's a 5-story motel, they're out. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon. My name is Cecilia Rudisill. I live in Indian Valley. I live at 296 Indian Springs Road. As I've come to you all many times in front of the board, asking you all to think about the wind turbines, once again I'm asking that. We have to change with time. We have to look for better ways to help our children. We have no guarantees. We can't depend on oil. We can't depend on coal. But we can depend on wind, because it's going to blow every day. And the sad thing is, I'm listening to everybody out here fussing about things. You know, we need to pull together. We need to quit fighting. But the sad thing is, we're not living in Montgomery County. We're not living in Christiansburg. I did. They told me what day I could put my trash out. They told me when I could pick up my trash cans. Do you want that here in Floyd? No, we need to stop ordinance. You landowners have came in here, you have bought this land, your grandparents, great-grandparents have lived here for many years. And we're allowing people to make rules because other landowners have come in here from other counties and moved in here. Yeah, you didn't like it there, you came here. But this is a rural area. If you want to put these grounds down, you do it for the town of Floyd. You leave the other landowners out of it. We live out in the country, we're not living in town. Let these people do what they want to with their land, so long as it is not destroying the water, the scenic beauty that everybody loves. Yes, it is in the eyes of the beholder, these wind turbines. I think they're beautiful. I think they add to a mountain. I would like to see those before I would solar panels. But you know, if I can't get some wind turbines in here, I can surely get solar panels. I've done been approached. And we have lots of landowners that are willing to go that route. I don't think these people that live over on Indian Valley would like to look out their window and see a mountain made of glass. I'd much rather see a wind turbine. But the problem is that I have listened, this has got completely blown out of proportion. We as landowners all pull together. It shouldn't be up to this many people, six, to say what we can and can't do with our land. You won't pay these taxes. I worked at the bank. I watched some of these elderly women come in here with very small pension checks and open up Christmas clubs. And what was that money used for? To pay their taxes. And my husband and I, we're not out to benefit ourselves. We're trying to help. You know, God says for us to love each and every one of us. Take care of our neighbors. That's what we're trying. We're not out to coat our pocket because we're willing to take this money, if we get any of it, and help with our schools, these elderly people. They have a right too. They've worked their whole entire lives to have what they've got. Let's let them keep it. You know, I moved out of Christiansburg because I couldn't walk out my door without all those looking inside his bedroom window. The nice thing about living in Floyd, you don't have it. That's all I've got to say, and I thank you all.